Howdy people, we are back in the booth today. I don't know why I think about where I am every day because I know. But yes, so we're at work. It's Saturday morning, and I thought what I'm going to do quickly is I'm going to do some more of these. So if you remember, these are the little side pods that we are going to put on the Hornet, on the seat unit. So there's a few videos further back. If you haven't seen them, go and have a watch, because it's basically making these out of knocking a few bits of metal up and whatnot. So yeah, so we've got these, look. So these are our side pods that are going to sit on the seat unit. And if you remember, they were made out of just a couple of bits of metal and basically cobbled together with any old rubbish, look. All the filler in there, look, just bogged in there, just to sort of, that's actually bogged in there just to hold that bottom piece on, because originally I didn't do that. But all these are going to be for is just to take a mould off, so it doesn't matter what we use. We can use toilet roll, we can use cake, we can use cardboard, filler, fiberglass, whatever you want. You can use whatever you want to get a mould or a buck to take a mould off of. So yeah, so today I'm going to basically flat these, and I'm going to give them a coat of shiny paint. I'm not sure what colour, doesn't really matter. Like I say, all these are for is to take a mould off. So the reason I'm going to do a shiny coat is so that we can wax these up, and then that will aid taking the mould off when we put them, when we okay, mould. So that's all rubbed down with 320. So again, I'm going to re-guide coat it like we do with all of the bits and pieces that we kind of double flat, so to speak. So yeah, re-guide coat it. And then, what have I got here? A bit of 500 foam pad. And I'm literally just going to go over it again, nice and gently. All the shaping is kind of done with the 320. And when I say shaping, I mean sort of the final, when you prime something, you have, it gives you like probably about 0.5 millimeter of build, which doesn't sound a lot, but it is quite a lot in kind of paint terms. So sometimes you get like really hammering it on, you'll get nearly 1 millimeter. But yeah, so if you kind of think like 1 millimeter or 0.5 mil, that basically gives you one last chance to just sort of shape it. So yeah, so that's kind of what I mean by like sort of a final sort of shaping. But yeah, so the 320 will cut that back nicely, and but it will leave it too scratchy for paint. So this is why we go over it with like 500, 400, 500. You know. So yeah, so this is 500. I'm literally going to quickly go over it. We don't need a lot. Right, that is good enough. That is plenty good enough. Okay, so I'll see you in a bit. There we go, look. All flatted, all done, no problems. Actually, I say no problems. This one, it has lifted slightly in that contour, would you call it? Yeah, so that's slightly annoying, but that's purely because I was, when I was making these, I was just rushing and using aerosol primer, filler, then aerosol primer, then filler. And when you're doing things like that, it needs time to cure, but I was just eager to get on. So that's why that's happened. But we can rectify that in the part that we make. So it's no big deal. I'm certainly not going to worry about doing anything with it. But this stage, if these were, you'll be able to see it, I'll show you when it's got gloss on. If these were like a finished part, then that wouldn't be acceptable, but we can sort that out in another process. So this is just a solvent-based pre-clean, which you do with everything before you paint. So yeah, they're ready now. The reason I've actually hung them up that way is because that's how they will sit on the bike, and it's always nice to, as a rule, I like to paint something as it will sit on the vehicle, on the car, on the bike or whatever. So if you're painting a wing for a car, for example, you're not going to put the wing sitting upright. You will always hang it as it sits on the car, as a, rule of thumb. But yeah, so this is how they'll sit on the bike. And the reason is, one, it's good practice for sort of colour matching, because certainly metallics, if you turn a panel, if you paint a panel from side to side and then you turn it in a different direction to hang on the vehicle, chances are it won't look the same because the metallic will have landed at a different angle. But yeah, I'm going to do these because also you get a build-up along the edge of paint. You always get a build-up. You can't avoid that. Sometimes you get more of a build-up, which generally says you've got way too much paint on there. But yeah, so to avoid that sort of build-up on the edge, that is how they're going to sit on the bike. We'll paint it on, and you won't get that build-up on that edge. You will get the build-up on this bottom edge, because obviously the laws of gravity and whatnot. And we'll get build-up round there and down there. But anyway, I'm going way too much into it. Let's just get some paint on them. And there we go, a little bit of colour on them. Everything looks okay. Yeah, it is what it is really. That's all we need. Good enough to take a mould off of them. I'll just let that dry. I won't bake them. Actually, I won't bake them for a few reasons, but the main reason is that bubble. Let me show you. Let me see if I can show you. Let me get it in the right light and you should be able to see it. Okay, so if you follow the fat finger, it's kind of there. Can you see it in the light, the reflection? So yeah, a little bit annoying, but you know, no real biggie, no real drama. You're better off to have a high spot actually than a low spot, because remember these when we mould these are going to be exactly the part that we produce from the mould will be exactly the same as this. Any little bits of dirt in the paint, a little bit of dirt there, look. There we go. You know, they will all show in the finished part. But the good thing about having a high spot is we can knock it down, so we can rub it down. So where that has lifted slightly, where that primer lifted on this side, it's no big deal, because when we actually make the finished part, we can just rub that down, and that'll rub down in the gel coat. It's only very, very minimal. I was going to do these in carbon, but there's no way I'm going to be able to get the carbon around these radiuses. They're so tight. There's no way I'll be able to do it. Yeah, I just dabble in carbon. So, but anyway, I'm babbling on, waffling on. I think that's good enough. Okay, so that's just another little video on these side pods. I'm going to call it a day with these now, because I'm going to waffle on and on and on and on, and I'm hungry. I'm really hungry. So yeah, so the next part actually will be starting the moulding process. So it will be I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, whether I'm going to fit them to the seat unit, or whether I'm going to mould them off of the seat. But we'll pick up that video later on down the line. So thank you all for joining me again. See you soon.